Good afternoon, Leek Town TV followers. It's my dog here. I've got to act fast this morning. The news is broken. Breaking news. New manager, Neil Baker. Obviously, he was previous manager at the club. Doesn't need any introduction. He was the manager during the most successful era that any Leek Town manager has done previously. Took the club to Wembley, playing at the highest level we've ever played at. He is back, and with that, huge feel-good factor around Leek Town Football Club this morning. Been inundated with tweets and messages to say pretty much how delighted that people are to see Neil back at the club and back in the hot seat. I mean, he's never really gone away. He's always been at the club in some capacity, but obviously not as gaffer. So we also understand that Jamie Cullerton will be his assistant manager and Simon Bell will be the coach, or at least that's how we understand the breaking news this morning. So, in true Leek Town TV style, I'm going to give Jamie Cullerton a ring, the assistant manager, who's agreed to speak to me. And I'm going to ask him a couple of questions. So, here we go. Just able to do this in time before I go to work. Jamie Cullerton. Turn it up. Good morning, good afternoon even, Cullo.
Good afternoon, yes.
Good afternoon. Thanks very much for agreeing for this quick interview. Are you all ready to go? Because I'm pretty much going live as we speak.
Yeah, it's fine, yeah.
Top man, well, I suppose obviously assistant manager, what's involved with that? Can you tell us?
Doing a bit of everything really, whatever needs doing. I think Paul said it, there's a lot of roles that need fulfilling behind the scenes on a management side. So there's training, there's arranging training, there's match days, there's watching games, watching players, targeting players, speaking to players. There's a host of things that all need doing, and as a collective team, we'll all be working towards those goals of making Leek Town successful really. So there's loads of things that need to be covered off. It'll be a matter of doing all different varieties of things really. There'll be times when holidays and things like that, when probably Neil's got some holidays and Belly's got some holidays and I've got some holidays. So it needs to be a collective team really, and that's what it'll be.
You mentioned Belly and you mentioned Neil obviously.
Yeah.
An obvious question I think people might ask is, how well do you know them both?
Well, I've known Neil a long, long time, to be honest. 20 years or so, on and off. Neil's from Cheadle, like myself, so our paths crossed well before sort of Leek Town days. And I've known Belly probably now for 10 years or so. We used to play for Belly when, played Sunday football for the Brit and Leek, when Belly played, and just always somebody I've, bumped into now and again. Obviously Belly was away in the army. More recently I've seen him a little bit more often since he's become more local. So Neil a long time, and both of them quite a considerable amount of time really, to be honest. I
understand you've had a taste of management yourself at Eccleshall. How was that?
It was good. It was hard work, very hard work, but really enjoyable, and it was something that I wanted to do just to whet my appetite for management, if you like, and it was good. It was a good experience. It was something that, that's on my CV really now, as somebody got a bit of experience of doing it, and it was just, the difficulty was attracting players, and at that level it's very hard. But it's something, that'll stand me in good stead for the future, really.
In terms of, obviously, the squad at Leek Town, have you had a chance to speak to any of the players? And what's your kind of view of the squad that is at the club at the moment?
Yeah, that's been ongoing now, this last week or so, since the announcement came out that Anton and Don had left. So we have been meeting up with players and Bakesman speaking to the majority, got around the majority of the squad. The squad's in good shape. It was, and it's a squad that we feel we can build on, to be honest. So You know, there was some good players in the team last year and in the squad last year. It was quite a relatively settled squad. Probably didn't, you know, in terms of numbers, there was probably only 17, 18 players throughout the whole season. And the majority of them stayed together, really, barring injuries and things like that, which you're going to get throughout the season. So it's a squad that we think we can build on, to be honest.
And have you discussed targets at all already? You know, there's obviously a feel-good factor now. Certainly with Neil Baker, he was the manager during the club's most successful ever period. So with that comes expectation. I suppose the question is, how do you manage that expectation? And have you been set any targets or a minimum expectation?
No, not as such. But like I say, it does create a buzz. I mean, that's why that was the instant thing that I got when Neil asked me. That it creates that excitement and buzz. That'll be around the town. Expectation will be high. We haven't been set any target. We haven't set ourselves any targets really at this stage. It's probably a bit too early to be doing anything like that really. But you know, we want to be doing well. We want to be challenging at the top end of the table. You know, I've been involved in league teams where we've been in the playoffs, and that's where we want to be at. We want to be in the playoffs and challenging for automatic promotion, and that's certainly why Neil's come to the club, and that's why I've come back to the club, and he gets that. You know, that excitement of going again and that excitement around the town and buzz really about it. But we haven't set ourselves any real targets just yet as well. We'll be out in terms of targets for players. We will sit down and do that in the next week or so. We have had a few numbers conversations with a few players, but it's mainly about trying to retain the current squad and speak to the current squad at the moment, which has been going on. That's the most important thing at this stage, really.
I suppose the final question then from me, Cullo, is when does it all start for you, or has it already done so, I guess, in terms of...
It already has, really, to be honest. But the hard work starts now, and it never stops, to be honest. Even whatever happens, whatever people think, whether it's a new management team or an existing management team, it never stops. There's things that the wheels are always running, really, to be honest with you. There might not be games going on, but there's always something going on, and there's always conversations with players are maybe speaking to other clubs, and it just constantly goes on, really, all throughout the summer. And until players get registered on the 1st of July, then, it'll continue up until then, really, to be honest. But you need to have plans in place for sort of pre-season games, training, where you're going to train and all that type of stuff. So there's a lot of work that goes on, which is obviously not seen, which has to be done. Else, otherwise, you start the season, that can reflect in the way you start the season, for the first league game.
I did say it was my final question. I've got one more to ask that's just come into my mind. In terms of pre-season games, I understand we've got Gainsborough Trinity arranged. Is there anything else in the pipeline we can expect?
There's a game against Stoke. There's a game against Nantwich. The games are going to come out very shortly and going to be published. But there's the normal games. This time there's a challenge, Leek Challenge Cup competition, which will give a bit of local excitement to the town and local teams, which involves all 4 teams. I believe. I don't know a great deal about that, but I believe it's Leeks SOB, Ball A Green, and I think Staffordshire Moorlands. So that'll create a bit of local interest over a weekend. And Buxton as well, which is towards the end of our pre-season fixtures. So it's a tough fixture list, but it's a good fixture list, which is what you want.
Cullo, I appreciate you giving me some of your time. Looking forward to chatting to you, and hopefully we can see a successful Leek Town team next season. So thanks very much.
No problems.
Top man. Cheers, Cullo.
Cheers.
Thanks, matey. Ta-ra. Thanks, Cullo. Gentlemen.